Hey guys, hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. Whacked together a little bit of a different video today. Been super busy the last few weeks away filming. We did an epic trip down the Victorian high country, and then we've just been away out Lithgow, Safala, Bathurst area for the last week or so. And so I've had a lot going on. We're currently in the process of moving houses, and we've got a baby on the way, so there's a lot going on. And yeah, I'm working my way through those big series, so I just thought I'd put together a little video today to give you guys something to watch in the meantime. So I went for a local drive this morning with a few mates out here at Broken Bago State Forest. So it's just going to be some raw footage of a few different vehicles there tackling some obstacles. We did this super fun track which takes you up the face of Bago. And then after that, I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A on a heap of questions I have been getting about the new Patrol. We had a big group of us out there today, but I just filmed the first three vehicles because it was a bit hard to sort of film everyone. But I had Dad driving this Patrol, which is the TB48. And then we had Pat driving his LS1 GU Patrol. And then we had Chaz driving a 4.2 diesel Patrol. So we had three engines of Patrols there, all twin locked, all on 35s, and all a 3 or 4 inch lift. Anyways, hopefully everyone enjoys that while I am working hard to get these other series out. So I think next weekend's going to be another Patrol build video. I'm just finalizing a few things for that, and then we're going to jump into the Victorian High Country series, and then we'll have a couple more Patrol build videos, and then into the big Lithgow trip. And very quickly, before I jump into that footage from this morning, I'll waste 30 seconds of everyone's time to say that Demi has been working very hard the last few weeks to create a whole brand new website. So we're launching that today when this video comes out, and we have a heap of cool new merchandise available on there too if people are interested. 2 brand new magnetic stubby coolers, so magnets on the back, they will hold a full drink and stick onto your vehicle. Got the Dad's Dumb Decisions one and the Tyler Thompson one. Cool new stickers, a couple of new fridge magnets. These have like a plastic glass cover, they're awesome. And a couple of new styles of shirts. So we just got the basic Tyler Thompson logo ones with the big logo and design on the back there. And then we have the Dad's Dumb Decisions shirt with the big design on the back there, and then the logo on the front. And then finally we have the Dad's Dumb Decisions snapback caps. This whole range is inspired by Kai thinking that I am a dumb dad out on the tracks and always choose the stupidest possible tracks and things to do when we're out exploring. Anyways, all that gear is there. If you're interested, goes a long way in supporting the channel and what I do and putting towards all this content. We'll jump into that drive from this morning. You're gonna go a fair bit higher than that. You've still got like 1.5 meters before you're gonna come down. He's got a bigger hole to go in yet. Nah. You just have to go back and bump it a bit because you'll be sitting hard on that rear bit, and just put your front locker in too and just a tiny bit of momentum. A bit faster, go back and then bump it a bit. Keep going. Yeah. our start turned in a fraction. Yeah, that's it. Didn't even fall. We fell in. Okay, go on. And we'll try it again. Come forward. That way a bit. Yep. Keep coming. That way a bit. That way a bit. A bit more. Yep, keep coming. That way a bit. Yeah, go. This way a bit. Yeah. Right, going over. Go. Very high up there. Coming up now. Yeah, but that thing like that bounced all over. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that little bit of footage there. Super fun track, that one. And you would have seen, and you can kind of see behind me now, the Patrol has had a few mods done to it that haven't been in the build videos yet. So you've obviously got a bit of a sneak peek, seen them, but I won't go into them. They will be in upcoming build videos. Now we'll jump into a few questions on the Patrol to end this video. Grab them off my social media. I just popped them up there a few hours ago and said if anyone's got any questions, let me know. Question number one, how does it go on fuel? Everyone has been very interested to know this, and people always ask me, and honestly I don't have an accurate answer for this yet. One reason being my speedo is out, which we're actually correcting in a couple of days. I was just waiting on that part to arrive, and then I'll be able to get a more accurate reading. But my best educated guess is it is sitting around the 25 litres per 100 for a mix of on-road and off-road driving. It does chew through the fuel, but it is not my daily driver. It's more the dedicated trip/work vehicle. So when I fuel up, I just sort of close my eyes and hope for the best. When is the barra swap? A lot of questions about engine swapping. Actually, most questions about when are you putting a turbo or the turbo on it. My thoughts on that are this is a great engine. It's got good power and it's very, very reliable. A turbo is only going to be a potential added extra problem or something to go wrong. And engine modifications, in my opinion, are only going to sort of reduce that reliability. So maybe one day, I'm not going to count it out, but there's no current plans to do that. I'm happy with this engine the way it is. No plans to engine swap or turbo it, which I know is maybe a bit boring, but yeah, just leave it as it is for the moment. Enjoy it for what it is. How have you found the petrol engine compared to the diesel? Do you recommend? Yeah, I've been loving the petrol engine. It's been great. It's not as noisy as a diesel. Diesel engines are so noisy, so that's been enjoyable, enjoying the peace and quiet of driving a petrol engine. The downfall being the extra fuel use of it, but yeah, great power, does everything I need it to do. No issues with water, and yeah, I'm loving it so far. No complaints really, other than just the extra fuel use. Have you second guessed yourself with going the petrol auto, or are you happy with it? No, not at all. I was only saying to Dad on the tracks this morning, I've literally scored the ultimate vehicle here for what I do and for what I want to use it for. I just could not be happier with it. I love this. I'm in love with this Patrol. It's so bloody good. I personally do prefer driving a manual, but I still got the manual nav and I drive that on the daily, and yeah, the auto's sweet for what I do. And Demi can drive it because she can't drive manual, which is great that yeah, she's able to sort of join in and have a go too. When are you going to park it up and get the nav out again? Well, the nav's going to be in the upcoming High Country series. I drove that, Demi drove the Patrol, and Dad drove the MUX. So we're going to have all three vehicles there. So for people that only want to see a certain vehicle or prefer a certain vehicle, well, they'll all be there. So it should keep everyone happy. And then yeah, I'm still going to be taking the nav on plenty of trips this year. There's just been more Patrol content lately because obviously I'm building it up, so there's been the build videos and it's fresh, exciting, like loving driving it. Why a Patrol over a Land Cruiser besides price and availability? Look, in the end I was gonna sort of take whatever good find I could get, but yeah, I feel like I've scored the ultimate thing here because the general consensus is Patrols have the stronger drive lines than Cruisers. It's quite hard to break the drive line on a Patrol. And with those 4.8 engines, they're generally a super reliable engine. Minimal problems with them. One of the reasons I don't want to do too much engine work to it and start creating problems that could potentially happen. Have you thought about a good off-road trailer for storage and even a camper? Yes, we just in the final process of organising it, but it's looking like a trailer company is going to lend us a trailer for a little bit of time, and then we can take it out with the whole family, because when the whole family comes we just can't fit everything in the Patrols. So I'll be able to do some trips with a camper trailer, and don't worry, it's not going to take over all the content, but it'll be just good variety and good for those family camping trips away to do a few vids using a trailer. And I have no idea how to tow. I've towed once before in my life, so there should be a few good stuff up there to entertain everyone. What do you prefer to drive? I assume meaning the nav or the Patrol. Out bush, by far the Patrol at the moment, and probably for the long term. The thing is so strong, it's so forgiving. Those big 4 coils all around, big solid axles, and that suspension that we did is just so soft out the bush. Like even Dad driving it today was like, dude, like this car is just nothing compared to the MUX, and it's the same with the nav. All your little bumps and corrugations and things you hit out the bush, it's so much smoother. You can drive it that bit harder and not be constantly stressing about something you're, you know, going to break. Not that you can't break this thing, but it's going to be a lot harder than the nav or MUX to break. It's so capable, it flexes so well. It just, yeah, so much fun to drive at the moment. The only thing the nav has over this at the moment is with the tray and canopy and all the dual battery setup, it's way better to camp and live out off. This thing's a bit of a pain in the butt at the moment. When we just did the week-long trip, like, it was fine, like, not complaining. It was, you know, great. We were out there having a great time, didn't set us back at all, but yeah, the nav is definitely much better. Do you miss the space you have in the nav's canopy? Would you consider a chop? I just kind of answered that. Yes, I do miss the space in the nav's canopy because that's unreal to camp out of. No, I would not consider a chop. I've said this like 3,000 times now. We need it as a 7-seater, and that was one of the reasons we got it. Technically a 6-seater, but the plan is to have 2 kids in the middle and 2 at the back rather than jam 3 across the middle road and then have 1 in the back. So yes, I could sort of set up a half storage area on the back, but we want to keep it as that 7-seater option. We're currently in the process of designing and building a dual battery system to go in the boot area there because it won't really fit under the bonnet. That will still allow us to run 7 seats. And there's a possibility I'll get some sort of removable drawers or something when everyone's not going, that we can make the most of that boot space. See what happens though, but yeah, definitely not chopping it, and we need the 7 seats. How do you like forward driving with an auto? Yeah, it's really good. I just manualize like the gearbox anyway, so I'm manually doing gears on the auto gearbox, you know, back into your Tiptonic transmission or whatever it is. It definitely runs away more on you on steep down hills. I may look at getting like one of those lock-up torque converters or whatever, but it's not really a major issue. Once you whack it down into first, it handles pretty well down hills. You just do have to do that added braking. And yeah, with an auto, you obviously have more control off-road and you can tackle obstacles at any speed you want. I think there's benefits of a manual off-road where it kind of keeps you moving at that bit of consistent speed, and you got that better downhill engine braking and stuff. But overall, I would maybe, from my experience, an auto is a bit better off-road. Which doesn't mean I necessarily want to drive an auto, because I think a manual's more fun. But if you want an honest answer on which one's better, then you'd probably have to go the auto. Are the lift and tyres road legal? No, they're not. They're not way over, but they are a little bit over. But I am in the process of getting it engineered, so that's not too far away. So I'll be engineering this car to make it fully road legal, and that'll be on 35s, 3-inch lift. I'm just waiting to upgrade the brakes and get the exhaust on, because I'll probably get the exhaust engineered with that too. And yeah, I've got a place locally that can do it for me. I think it's going to cost me just under $3,000, which is a little bit of money. I've sort of been putting it off. That's one of the reasons. I'm just trying to put together that money to get that done. But yeah, it will be engineered, so then it's obviously fully road legal. And it's all been set up and built that way. You know, like we're upgrading the brakes. We've done the suspension properly where everything's corrected. Everything still drives nice on the road. Sway bars in. Well, actually, front's still not in yet. We're still waiting on the final part for that. So I need to get that in too for engineering. But then we'll have both sway bars in. And yeah, won't be an issue. Couple of questions about the new bull bar, but I don't want to go into that yet because that hasn't been on a build video yet. So I'll explain more about that in that actual video, and then I can answer questions after that. But yeah, I love that bull bar. How long are the shocks? They are 6-inch in the front and 5-inch in the rear, which I don't actually know what that translates to in inches of travel, but it's a hell of a lot. Getting any more mods? Yep, there's still a few more coming. Obviously, there's some on the vehicle yet that haven't been in the build videos, but after that, I got a rear bar to go on, long range tank, got to get the exhaust on. There's a few bits and pieces there, definitely still coming. Best four-wheel drive ever made? Well, maybe. I won't go into that, but it's a bloody good four-wheel drive. Seeing its capability, do you wish you'd built one sooner? No, not really. Like, you know, it was a good progression. I learned everything in an IFS vehicle. I really learned how to wheel in an IFS vehicle, and I sort of did everything I could in an IFS vehicle. So now it's like opened up a whole new world for me of, it's kind of like re-energized me and revived me, or whatever you want to call it, for getting out on the tracks. And like, we're going to these places, but I'm like, oh yes, this time I can, you know, do this track and do that track, and I want to go there to do that one. That last time we're just getting a bit like ridiculous in the nav. Like, I know I really pushed the nav, but yeah, it's not as stressful in this one, and this is more capable. The only thing is, and I think there's a question about this somewhere, like, is it as capable as you thought it would be, or something like that. This car is incredibly capable, but I'm just still learning how to drive it. It's quite different to drive. So I thought I'd just get in and drive it, then I would magically be like also amazing at driving it. You know, obviously I can drive the nav pretty well, but yeah, you have to relearn how to drive this vehicle. So I'm still in the process of doing that before I really want to, you know, step it up onto those super hard tracks, but we definitely have done some hard ones already. You ever worry about combined effects of large tyres and muddies on brake stopping distance in wet, in brackets? The braking on this is pretty good, to be honest. It's probably better than the nav, maybe, even with the 35s, because these 4.8 litres have the best brakes out of any Patrols. They have nice big brakes, disc brakes all around. And I am also doing a brake upgrade as well, so it'll give me that little bit more, and it's going to be even better than factory. What is the best part of going solid axles and worst part compared to the nav? Well, with this suspension, this solid axle vehicle rides better than the nav. It's tougher, it handles bush conditions much better, so I'm not too sure what the negatives are there. To be honest, it all kind of seems to be positive. All right, last question I'll do. Were you originally looking for a diesel, or were you set on a petrol first project? No, I was originally looking at diesel, because I was like, oh, diesel four-wheel drive, that's just where my head went. Then a few people started suggesting petrol, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, that could be good. And yeah, I'm super happy I went to petrol. It's just good variety, you know, new engine to learn, new experience. So no, I wasn't set on it, but I'm happy that I ended up sort of heading down that way. And then not a question I got right here, but people do keep continually asking me this and suggesting this: sell the nav, have you sold the nav? No, I'm not selling the nav. I still really like that vehicle. I'm just having a lot of fun in this at the moment. But for what I do, and like, you know, being a four-wheel drive camping content creator, it's good that I can have two vehicles to produce content with. Great variety for the channel. So I got like an auto, petrol, solid axle, big tough rig. And then I got an IFS, you know, touring camping rig. So I'm going to keep the nav for more the touring camping sort of stuff. Still do the odd, you know, challenging track in it. And then this will be more for the hard trips away. So it keeps it super exciting and fun for me, having that ability to mix it up. And hopefully for you guys as viewers as well. And then we still got Dad coming along in the MUX. And then, you know, we can take both the nav and the Patrol on some trips. We got the camper trailer that we're borrowing for a little while, hopefully, which will be good variety. Like for me, this four-wheel drive channel, I try and invest like a lot of my money back into it. Like, people see me with these vehicles, you know, putting expensive mods onto them and doing them up a lot. But like, this is my life, kind of. This is my everything. So I get a lot of help with sponsorships and, you know, testing parts for companies and, you know, getting them out there for people to see and stuff like that. So I get a lot of help there. And then what money I do have, I sort of try and invest it all back into the channel for making videos and creating content for you guys to see. And you got to also remember that I do this like week after week after week after week. So yeah, maybe I get an expensive part, but I get these parts because I'm not just going out a couple of weekends, you know, here and there across the year. Like, I need stuff that, for me, if the vehicle breaks, I'm often on my own. So that's all the first like disaster. And the second thing being, like, if I break a vehicle on a trip I've planned, it's all set up, I'm filming it all, well then there goes that trip, there goes my content, there goes my income. So I need like good vehicles that are reliable and not let me down, you know, out the bush, and when I'm working and can get done what I need to get done. So that probably leads me just to my last point I'll go into before I finish up this video. Just to, I know like it's basically 0.01% of people, but just a few things you see going around. The first one being, it seems I've severely upset a few people because I've, you know, modified it quite a bit. Twin lockers, super capable suspension, 35s. and some people wanted to see a family tourer. Number one, I didn't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do because that's what keeps me happy, and that's going to create good content. If I'm doing content and cars and builds that I'm like, oh, I'm just doing this because that guy over there told me to, I'm not going to be having fun. Like, you'll see me happy, putting more effort into these videos, creating better content. And like I already did, like the family touring, like that's what the nav's for. So we already have that vehicle, so why would I sort of do, you know, the nav's like your basic vehicle that a lot of people are buying these days, you know, a basic ute, factory rear locker most of them come with. It's got a 2-inch lift to them, a little bit bigger muddies, and then off you go on your trips. That's what the nav is. So this is something different. This will appeal to a wider market, and so I've got like the good variety now, and I still got Dad in his MUX with the, you know, rear locker, 2-inch lift, and, you know, little mud tires on it. They're still showing everyone how it's done in that thing too. So that's sort of the reason for going this, you know, doing what I've done to it. And then the last point is about sponsorships and gear. It does get a little bit upsetting when you see like all these comments just being, not all, as I said, it's minimal. It's like, I know that 99.9% of people get it and don't think that way, but you just see them going around here and there, you know, people throwing out these comments and saying these things about you and making these assumptions about the gear for this vehicle and the gear I'm getting. As I said, I do get like super good help with sponsorships, but it's never just like they just give it to me for free for the hell of it. Like, I worked super hard for years to get to this position where companies are willing and want to help me out with gear, and obviously I can get their gear out there to be seen. And a lot of the times I might be testing out products for companies or giving them feedback, because, you know, who better than me who's going out all the time and, you know, really putting this gear to the test. And for these companies, you know, like, I'm always providing content for them, you know, videos and photos. And so while I might not give them actual cash in return, it's never actually technically free, because I'm always giving them stuff in return, and obviously they're getting things out of it as a business, you know, they're advertising, and I'm, you know, doing things for them. And then, as I said, with the money I do make off this, other than basically my basic living costs, I'm putting most of my money back in to mods, trips, building these vehicles, content for you guys. You know, like, I get, you know, a few mods, there's another video, content for you guys. So it's not that I'm rich and just got bucket loads of money and companies just throwing stuff at me for free and I'm just sitting here like piling up cash and modifications. It's just sort of, you know, how it works in the position that I'm in. I couldn't afford to build this whole Patrol myself. That's where it's lucky these companies are able to get on board and help me. And the money I do have left over, I'm putting into the mods and these videos and building these vehicles, because I rely on them. I'm out there every week in them and creating, you know, content for you guys to watch. All right, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. So next week, Patrol build video, and then we should be into the Victorian High Country series. I just in the process of moving, so there's a lot going on, but I think I should be able to stick to that. We'll hope for the best anyway. All right, I'll see everyone in the next video.
Is taking over with soldiers in the snow. The more I fight it, the more I feel it.
Boom, 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 boom.
Connecting fraction.
3-inch lift, 35s. And then we had Pat driving his LS1 and a couple of this whole range is a, how do you like four-wheel driving with an auto? Yeah, it's good.
Stepped right through me, it was moving so slow. I kept a piece of it and now I'm not.